Hey everyone, what's going on? I'm sure you are as fired up as I am as the Bills are on the heels of a 21-13 win over the Green Bay Packers. Man, it was a lot of fun to be there, and as stressful and as frustrating as it was at times. So satisfying to get the win over the Packers. It's probably the biggest win since the Bills beat the Patriots at home. So 3 years ago. I mean, that was a big deal, but that was probably the most. Let me rephrase that. This Packers game was probably the most fun I've ever had at a Bills game, other than when they beat the Patriots. Just because of the magnitude of the win. The Bills, they moved to 8-6. As far as the playoff picture goes, losses put Houston, Miami, and Cleveland in the rearview mirror. They're at 7-7, so you can look back at them. That's fine. They still need some help to make the playoffs, involving teams like Cincinnati and Baltimore and Pittsburgh and Kansas City and San Diego. There's a lot going on. Trust me, they need help. I'm going to root for those teams, but ultimately you can only control what you can control. I can't control anything. But as far as the Bills go, they can control beating Oakland. They can control getting to 9-6. If they get to 9-6, more than likely there's going to be a playoff scenario for them. It's amazing that they could actually be eliminated even if they win. If Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cincinnati, if all those teams win, there's a scenario where I think it's Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cincinnati maybe. If they all win, the Bills are eliminated. That might be correct because they'll all have 10 wins, and they'll all have the tiebreaker with the Bills, something like that, which would be terrible because apparently we want Pittsburgh to beat Kansas City to eliminate Kansas City. Baltimore plays who? Cleveland? No, Cleveland plays Carolina. I'm sorry, I'm totally stumped on who Baltimore plays this weekend. Houston. Baltimore plays Houston. Case Keenum's playing quarterback probably. That sucks. Cincinnati plays Denver. So you need that to happen. San Diego plays San Francisco. So, I mean, there's a lot of scenarios in there. As far as what we can watch, at least on Saturday night, go Niners. Hopefully Stevie Johnson's team helps us out, even though they're probably completely unmotivated because they were eliminated last week with a loss. I hope not. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and preview the whole playoff picture. Just hopefully win the game, and hopefully win the game, would beat the Raiders, and hopefully have a playoff scenario in Week 17, as ridiculous as it might be. Anyway, sort of backtracking a little bit and going to the Packer game, you can't say enough about how the defense has played down the stretch here. They've been incredible. They've held Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers to a combined 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Rodgers just came off the worst quarterback rating of his career, the worst completion percentage of his career, and the most incompletions he's ever thrown in a single game. Obviously, that's aided by 7 drops. But you know what? It is what it is. The most notable drop was obviously Jordy Nelson's potential touchdown, I'll say. I mean, thank you. What do you say to that? That's unbelievable. From a guy who never does anything like that. And it's probably going to be 6 points. Not for sure, but I mean, it's going to get them out of the shadow of their own end zone at least and into Buffalo territory. Just wow. You know things are going your way when Jordy Nelson forgets how to catch a football. Not mad about it. Certainly not mad about it. You guys got to give credit to the defense, though, at all levels. Even though the defensive line didn't apply a whole lot of pressure to Rodgers. He had a lot of time to maneuver through the pocket. He escaped the pocket a couple times and ran for some really positive yards. The linebackers and cornerbacks they were fantastic in coverage. Even though there were 7 drops, guys were open, obviously, at times. Just can't say enough about the way those cornerbacks played and the linebackers. I mean, it's 17 of 42. Rodgers went 17 of 42. Really is really exemplary of how either off Rodgers was with his receivers, which you never really see. And like I said, you just gotta tip your hat to the defense, and we've been doing that all season because the offense has been putrid. Hats off to Gilmore and Graham. They had terrific games on the outside. Roby did a pretty good job on Cobb, who did end up finishing with 7 catches for 96 yards. Green Bay was sort of scrambling at the end, towards the end, to get back in the game, and Cobb was a big part of that. I was surprised that Eddie Lacy, who completely gashed the Bills in the first half, he had 97 yards rushing. Not in the first half, but total. Was sort of abandoned in the second half. I don't know if that was due to the lingering hip injury he came in with, but I was surprised they didn't go to him more often. And he was in the game at the end. He recovered the fumble, the old holy roller rule, which I'm sure you've heard about by now. I'll take that rule all day. The safety, the sack safety, technically sack fumble safety. Big play by Mario Williams, even to get in there on J.C. Treader from Akron, New York, who was only in the game because Balaga was hurt. And the Bills got a lot of breaks. You can't, any way you cut it, they got a lot of breaks, but you know what? You still have to win the game. And they did that. I said earlier, I'm still concerned about the offense. And that is true. Hold on. Time out. Obviously, I gotta have just, a moment of silence for Bakari Rambo. Because who knew? Duke Williams got hurt, and Bakari Rambo comes in, gets 2 picks. One was all him, man. The throw to Cobb, he jumped that route and made that interception. The other one was a tip that came right to him. Good job. He got torched, though, on the Nelson play. The double move Nelson that he dropped. Bakari Rambo, if you watch the replay, Bakari Rambo totally jumps the move and gets cooked, which you can't do. You just can't do. I mean, he's not... is he still like... I don't expect him to turn into a Pro Bowler is what I mean. But number was called upon because of Duke Williams being injured or getting a concussion and stepped up. So, thank you, Bakari Rambo. Anyway, I want to get back to the offense because they're bad. Marcus Thigpen provided the only touchdown of the day on the punt return. Orton was 14 of 27 for 158 yards and a pick. He had the same QBR as Aaron Rodgers, who completed 17 of 42. Orton completed 14 of 27. They ended up with the same QBR. Watkins only 1 catch for 28 yards on 6 targets. Woods 2 for 22. Chandler 2 for 22. This is like 40 of Orton's yards came on that play to Bryce Brown, which was a complete blown coverage by the Packers. Should have been a touchdown. Brown had to wait underneath for it. I guess I shouldn't complain that much because it still worked, but it led to a field goal. Offense is bad right now. The play calling is suspect, and the execution is terrible. The offensive line is sporadic at best. Bills are 23rd overall on offense, 19th passing, 24th rushing. 28th in the NFL with 17.3 first downs per game, 24th in third down percentage, 37%. Thankfully, to the defense, they have the 5th best turnover differential at +10. They don't have a 500-yard rusher. They don't have a 1,000-yard receiver. It's tough. I know the injuries have played a part. Don't get me wrong. I know that. And changing quarterbacks. And the line has been bad. But good quarterbacks overcome, and it obviously falls on Orton there. Good quarterbacks can overcome poor line play. Good teams can overcome certainly poor line play and be at least moderately successful on offense. But this kicking of field goals is just driving me absolutely insane. Hopefully they get a spark back this week with the return of C.J. Spiller. He's added to the active roster. He's probably going to play. Looks that way. He hasn't been dynamic this year, whether that's to the line or what have you. You can make that argument. His legs are fresh, though. He hasn't been hit in a while, so we'll need to see that. I'm curious to see what the running back rotation will be as well, if they'll activate all four. Now with Frank Summers being released to make room for Spiller, they might keep all four active. You can't sit Dixon. You're obviously not sitting CJ or Fred. You can't sit Dixon because he contributes on special teams too, and just an all-around contributor. You might be able to sit Brown. I don't think Brown's going to really see the field maybe at all if he's active. But we'll see. That's up to the coaching staff. You just find a way, man. Find a way to run the football. The Raiders are 25th against the run. They're 2-12, but they have won their last 2 home games. But this is still just it's a game the Bills obviously have to have for playoff reasons, but you just have to have it. I don't care if the Bills were 4-10 right now. I would want to beat the 2-12 Raiders on the road. That's a road game that I want to have. The Raiders are 18th on defense. They are 8th against the pass, 25th against the run. They have some pretty nice players. C.O. Moore won't play. That's nice. But like I said, they have some pretty nice players in Khalil Mack and Charles Woodson, obviously the 17-year vet. Khalil Mack, the rookie. Justin Tuck is there. They have some players. They have some guys who can ball. Not going to take that away from them. But they're 2-12 for a reason. They can't stop the run. And they can't play offense. So the Bills, who have struggled to run the ball, hopefully will get that going with a fresh running back in C.J. Spiller, complete grinder in Fred Jackson, and hopefully Kyle Orton is efficient throwing the football. It's clear. It's as clear cut as that for the offense. They need. Booby Dixon said it earlier this week. They need to impose their will. Just go out and take it. You want to run play action? Go run play action. You want to run the football? Just go run the football. It's way easier said than done. I understand that. But it's something that needs to be done. Because if they're going to make the playoffs, they obviously are going to need to score points against New England next week. They're going to have to win this week and score points against New England next week. And then score points in the playoffs. They basically have 3 playoff games leading up to that. They won 1. They have 2 left. And this is one. This one's on the road. The next one's on the road. It's just I know I'm sort of all over the place right now. This is just it's a confusing time for me. It's December. It's almost Christmas. The Bills are playing meaningful football games. This is unreal. So let's beat the Raiders. They have Derek Carr. He's a rookie. They're 32nd overall. That's dead last on offense. Last in running the football, 24th in passing. Like the Bills, they do not have a 500-plus yard rusher. They have McFadden and Murray. Murray's been looking better lately, like the better back at least. They do not have a 1,000-yard receiver. They have 2 guys over 600 yards, Andre Holmes, James Jones. They have Michael Rivera at tight end. These are not huge playmakers. Just don't let these guys get loose and make big plays that allow them to put up points, basically. Derek Carr completes 59% of his passes for about 200 yards a game, a little bit less. He has 18 touchdowns, 11 picks. Over the past 2 games, though, he has 4 touchdowns and no interceptions, including going 22 of 28 in a win over San Francisco 2 weeks ago. So the Raiders they're playing better football right now. I can't take that away from them, but this is just a game the Bills need to win. The defensive line must dominate the line of scrimmage. The secondary must stay aggressive. They just have to put on that repeat performance of last week. That's the way I'm looking at it. The Raiders don't have a ton of playmakers. They have a rookie quarterback. Expose that. You have the veteran quarterback. He should be able to beat the Raiders. It's just simple as that. You're a better team than the Raiders. Tell me that we're not. The Bills haven't beat the Raiders on the road since 1991, and that was in L.A. The Bills haven't won in Oakland since 1966. That's changing. I'm making my prediction right now. The Bills are going to beat the Raiders. It's not going to be easy because the offense never makes it easy. 16-13. I think it's going to be close. I don't see the Bills blowing them out. I really hope that they do. I know they did that to the Jets. They didn't have to travel cross country to play the Jets. They did have to travel twice to play the Jets. I understand that, but not across country. It's tough. It's a tougher task. It's unfamiliar opponent. This is a game we have to have. It's like why am I nervous about it? Why am I nervous about playing the Raiders? You know why? Because we're 8-6. And I'm just not used to this. We haven't won 8 games in 10 years. I was 16 years old. I was barely driving a car. Times are changing, hopefully. We certainly hope so. Bills need to do what they haven't done all season. They need to win 3 games in a row. They need to win. They won last week. They need to win this week. They need to win next week. I think if the Bills get to 10-6, nobody's really complaining. You might look back and be like, oh man, we wish we would have had Kansas City. And I might have said this last week. But if they get to 10-6 and don't get in, just throw your hands up in the air. Hey, we went 10-6. Because 18 teams over the last 14 years have gotten in with fewer than 10 wins. That's 9 wins or less. And we go 10-6, don't get in. Look at the Cardinals last year. Anyway, guys, thank you for coming this far into the video. You can hit me up on Twitter. My handle is the same as my username for YouTube. The Bills are 8-6. They're going to be 9-6 after Sunday. Go Bills!